everybody. My name is Francisco Martinez. I am one of the co-directors of the FCJ Refugee Centre. And we are pleased to organize this event for the refugee advocacy community of Toronto and beyond with the downtown legal clinic. So the person that we're going to have after me is Kristen Marshall, and you're a lawyer. Yeah. So she's a lawyer with experience in refugee cases, and she's the lawyer that supervises the students doing the legal practice at the downtown legal clinic. So we have been, the FCJ Refugee Centre and the downtown legal clinic have been working in several cases together. Besides, we have a long story. I don't want to say how many years because she's scared about the age. So the relation that we have is personal, is organizational, is institutional, and it's in terms of the approach that we also have about the refugee issues and situations. What you see over there is the exam that you will have at 4:45. If the person is not able to fill it out, the puzzle, the person will be in charge of sending a letter to Jason Kelly. And basically expressing your opinion about the refugee reform. So if you want to send a letter to Jason Kelly, please don't fill it out. If you don't want to send it, fill it out. But it's very difficult, so I don't think that you will be able to do it properly. So no, that's it. So that's something that was produced in Vancouver, and they are using it as a popular education tool, and they are using it after workshops or seminars of the refugee reform, in order that the people have something to do and can at least understand all the terminology and new things that are happening. So we put it there. We are going to put it in our website as a FCJ in order that you can use it as well as you do. We want to say thank you to the Salvation Army. We have a history, the FCJ Refugee Centre, organizing things here in this beautiful place. It's very affordable. They are very understanding of the NGOs' needs and the people that work with refugees. They do a lot with refugees. So we just want to say thank you to the Salvation Army for giving us the possibility to be here. And now, without any other use, let me introduce Kristen Marshall.
Thank you, Francisco. Good morning, everybody. As you can tell from the amount of paper in your folders, we currently have a very active Minister of Citizenship and Immigration. That's why we're here today. The government's passed legislation that will fundamentally change the way we conduct refugee determinations in this country, among other drastic changes. In my view, the title, Balanced Refugee Reform Act, is a misnomer. Before it was passed, I believe our laws did a good job of balancing efficiency into decision-making and fairness. The Protecting Canada's Immigration System Act goes even further, and you'll hear all about that in a few minutes. It's noteworthy that in 10 years we have moved from the Immigration and Refugee Protection Act to a law that is clearly more interested in protecting the refugee system than it is in protecting refugees. The context for refugees is tough and getting tougher. For decades now, since the 1980s, northern industrialized states, including Canada, have used a variety of measures designed to limit the flow of refugees to their countries. In other words, to limit access to the refugee determination process. In Canada, these measures have included imposing visa restrictions on the nationals of certain countries. If you don't have a visa, you won't get on a plane. Interdiction, stopping asylum seekers while they're en route to their destination. In Canada's case, at airports abroad, checking to see if the passengers carry valid passports. sending refugee claimants back to safer countries where they can make their claims, in Canada's case, to the US, and of course, detention. All of these methods are designed to deter people from seeking asylum in our country, and all of them to varying degrees work. Some of you may know or have heard of Alex Neave, who's now the head of Amnesty Canada. He wrote a paper a few years ago for Amnesty on their work for refugees. While attending a conference in Senegal, he met a Mauritanian refugee who said something that I think sums up the refugee experience for most claimants, very succinctly, both the difficulties and the importance of hope. The man said, "As a refugee, you live a life hearing no. No, you cannot stay in your own home. No, you cannot come into this country. No, you cannot stay. No, I cannot help. No, I don't have time. So many refusals, you lose your dignity. I know that organizations like Amnesty cannot be the one to say yes, but at least it's a place where we're able to hear, we are with you. We are trying. We will do our best." That offers hope, and hope sustains our dignity. Regrettably, this new legislation does not inspire a lot of hope. The government came up with the idea of irregular arrivals and designated foreign nationals following the arrival of 2 boats off the coast of BC in 2009 and 2010. The Ocean Lady, carrying 76 passengers, and the Sun Sea, carrying 492. Both boats contained Tamil refugee claimants from Sri Lanka. After the arrival of the Sun Sea, the spokesperson for Minister Kenny said, and at the time, all we knew about the passengers on the boat was that they said they were from Sri Lanka and that they were Tamils. Spokesperson said, "The government will strenuously argue that every single one of these individuals with terrorist or criminal backgrounds, and that includes membership in the murderous Tamil Tigers, is ineligible to make a refugee claim in Canada. We won't allow Canada to become a place of refuge for terrorists, thugs, snakeheads, and other violent foreign criminals. Nor will we support those who want to create a 2-tier immigration system. 1 tier for law-abiding immigrants who wait patiently in the queue, and a second, for-profit tier for criminals and terrorists who pay human smugglers to help them jump the queue." As of a few weeks ago, 15 of the Ocean Lady migrants had been accepted as refugees, 15 had been rejected, and 1 claim had been withdrawn. Meanwhile, 50 of the Sun Sea migrants had been accepted as convention refugees, 63 had been rejected, and 23 claims had been withdrawn. To date, none of the claims of the Sun Sea or Ocean Lady passengers has been found to be a threat to Canada's security. In fact, the provision that led to the arrest of those accused of smuggling them has been struck down by the BC Supreme Court for being too broad. This is where we get to cheer. Yes! In 1986, another boat carrying 156 Tamil refugee claimants arrived off the coast of Newfoundland. None were detained. The people of Newfoundland gave them tea and sandwiches and put them up in their homes. You can compare the government's response at the time to the statement given by Kenny's representative in 2010. Prime Minister Brian Mulroney said, "My government will do anything but allow refugees in lifeboats to be turned aimlessly around in the ocean and turned away from our shores. We don't want people jumping to the head of the line. We don't want injustice introduced into the system. We don't want excessive delays. But there will always be human suffering and human misery, and there will be people who come to Canada for freedom. And if we err, we will always err on the side of justice and on the side of compassion." Observed Prime Minister Paul Mulroney. How times have changed. Finally, just to counterbalance all the doom and gloom that we all feel, that feeling of losing hope, this is not the time to lose hope. We are all in this together, and there are things that we can do to share our stories and push back. There is hope in the fact that there are so many of you here today to share experience, to learn, and generally to derive support from one another in the important work ahead. There is hope in the fact that this event is a collaboration of FCJ Refugee Centre, an agency that has worked hard to support refugees for decades, and Downtown Legal Services, a legal clinic that has just celebrated its 40th birthday. There is hope that the law students of DLS have not worked for decades in the field, but bring enthusiasm, hard work, and dedication to getting the word out so that we may all have tools to do the best for our clients. Many of us in this room believe that the government, in their zeal to discourage refugee claimants from ever setting foot in Canada, have gone too far. When that happens to our clients, it's our job, our responsibility, to let the public know and to do something about it. Thank you.
There is seats available here.